Welcome to part 2 of this Football Manager experiment where we're seeing if Indonesia can win the World Cup. If you missed part 1, please check that out first. You know what's going on. I've basically improved the youth of Indonesia and all the Indonesian clubs as well, and we're seeing if that helps Indonesia rise up the world rankings and eventually challenge for the World Cup, hopefully. And in episode 1, in part 1, it actually went quite well, much better than the San Marino one anyway. So I'm hoping that eventually Indonesia can win the World Cup. Thank you for all the support on part 1. Lots of likes once again, just like the San Marino experiment, so that's much appreciated. So as you can see here, I thought I'd show the 2026 World Cup to start this off, because that's the aim. Obviously we want to see how Indonesia do in the World Cup, and they did qualify this time round. But you can see that they didn't get the top 3 places. Italy won the World Cup, France second, and South Korea third. So an Asian country doing really well, but it's not Indonesia. South Korea doing really well at the moment in the world rankings. They're 8th. So let's see what happened in the group stages. Where did Indonesia finish in the World Cup? You can see there Cyprus qualified from their group, but that's really unusual for Cyprus to even qualify for World Cup, so well done to them. Let's go down and see where Indonesia were and which group they were in. They actually finished bottom of their Group E, unfortunately, with 0 points, a -3 goal difference, 3 scored, 6 conceded. They did have a tough group, I guess, with Germany in there, Cameroon, a very strong African country, and Czech Republic actually really flying away with it with 9 points. So Indonesia really unsuccessful this time round. They did better in the previous one, actually, I think. Previous 2, in fact. So yeah, not so good for them, but let's hope in future years they will build on that. So where are they currently in the world rankings after that? They're 24th, and they were as high as 19th at one point, which I think is the highest we've seen them so far. Dropped down for a bit and have gone back up recently in the last year. I suppose after the World Cup they did drop down because of their defeats in the World Cup. So we'll just have a quick look at the last couple of years to see how they've been getting on. So that World Cup really was a blip in their form. Huge wins in the build-up, 6-0, 5-0, 6-0, 4-0, but obviously against weaker teams. And then after the World Cup, 8-0, 8-0 again, 6-0, 5-0, 4-0, 6-0. Incredible stuff. They didn't concede a goal until they played Singapore in December. So amazing stuff. They won the AFF Championship again, which is the Southeast Asian Football Championship. They've won the last 5 now, so they really are on a roll. Beating Thailand in the final once again. This season, this year, they have been playing in the Asian Cup, which they won against North Korea in the final. They actually beat South Korea in the semi-final on penalties. Remember, South Korea very strong in this, 8th in the world, so that really would have helped their world ranking by beating them. And then beating North Korea in the final. Someone did suggest doing North Korea in a experiment as well. That's a really good idea. I probably will do them at some point, but I know what I'm going to do in the next one. That will be up. I don't know. It depends how many parts we do for this, but I've got the next couple planned anyway, so I'm going to be continuing these sort of experiments. Those of you that want me to do other countries will be pleased to know that. So I'm going to holiday another few years, and then we'll look at the players in a bit more detail and see how they've got on in perhaps the next World Cup. So I've holidayed just before the 2030 World Cup, but we're not going to look at that in detail. I'll holiday another season. We're going to look at the players this time round just to see what's going on. The top player in Indonesia is Sonny Prayogo, who's a 29-year-old, 7 goals in 108 games for Indonesia. He's a right wing-back, but he plays for Barcelona, which is incredible. He's moved there for 10.5 million from Verona, who initially signed him from the Super League in Indonesia for 145k. I moved a couple times actually. It actually moved to a different Indonesian club for more money than Verona signed him for, which is strange. But he looks like a really good player. Let's look at his attributes. 179 potential ability, so he's reached that. Obviously he's 29 now. He's won a few things as well by the looks of it with Barcelona. I think this is the Euro Cup actually. You can see the last few winners there for those of you interested. Let's look at some of the other players. And Mohamed Saputra plays for Bayern Munich, only got 15 caps for Indonesia, but apparently he's the second best player. It's strange how there's so many good players that there are really world-class players missing out on becoming regular Indonesian first-team players. It's really unusual, actually. Ahmed Fakhruddin, 116 goals in 93 games for Indonesia. We'll have a look at the records in a minute, because there's been some incredible goal scorers for Indonesia. Let's just have a quick look at his ability. 183. What a player. And they've got another guy at Man City, Miftahul Wijaya, 16 goals in 125 games for the central midfielder. Let's go to the main team and then just compare. The most cap player is in fact the Man City guy. Then it's the Barcelona guy. They've got someone at Anderlecht. I think we saw him before. Ronald Panjaitin. Rings a bell, I think. Because I remember someone called Ronald. Anyway, what a name, Ronald. Brilliant. Anyone else here of particular note? Let's look at the top scorer. It is the AC Milan guy. And then it's in fact Ronald. Ribet Effendi is looks like a good player as well. Striker, plays for Lazio. Most valued player is in fact Dendi Basuki, another Barcelona guy. Whoa, he looks very good. Attacking midfielder. 190, bloody hell. Wow, he must be one of the best players on the game. 196 current ability, 198 potential. He's only got 37 caps for Indonesia. It's really weird that. Why aren't they playing him all the time? He looks unbelievably good. That is really odd. So I've decided to look at the World Players of the Year because of that reason. There's some brilliant players in Indonesia, but it doesn't look like they've won any. We've seen Odegaard and Pogba in there in the last few years. Lionel Messi still won it in 2021 at the age of 34. Let's go up. You see Eric Lamela there and a Campos as well. We've got Pogba, Depay, Odegaard, Pogba again winning it. Visco second. Neymar winning it at the age of 33. Odegaard second there. Pogba winning it once again at the age of 33 here. And then Odegaard second, Depay. They seem to win it at a very old age on this game. And then Odegaard has won it at the age of 30. And we've got an Indonesian guy there, Fadil, this guy, 81 caps for Indonesia, the Barcelona guy. So that's the first guy to actually get into the World Player of the Year. So well done to him. That's really good news, in fact, to see him. And have we got anyone on here? He was second in the World Golden Ball as well, so that's good. Don't think there's any other people. It's strange that there's actually still real players winning this, and we're now in 2030, and this guy, who's a real player, Nuri, Dutch person, has won it, and Odegaard second. Let's look at World Team of the Year. Can we look at nationality? Maybe not. Might not be as easy to look. You might be able to spot some of our players in there, but I don't think there are any in the last season anyway. What about the season before? There we go. It's the Barcelona guy once again on that list. Is he Indonesian? No, he's Italian. If you just look at the Indonesian Super League, it's up to 4th in the competition reputation in Asia. Still behind the Japanese, the K-League and the Pro League in Saudi Arabia. But it's going pretty strong. Arema have won the last couple of league titles. Or Persik won it this year, actually. Let's look at some of the top scorers to see some of the players. This guy, Yogi Mutar, actually has 2 goals in 2 games for Indonesia. Doesn't look like he's good enough to really play for the Indonesian national side when you're looking at some of the players that are in the team now. But average rating, Aldino hasn't won anything. Obviously, most of the good players have now gone abroad, haven't they? But there will be some. The league is really strong. Thinking about it, let's look at the top prospect in Persik. That's always a good thing to look at. Someone suggested looking at the monthly awards as well. Then you can see the best players. But this guy's got good potential. 178, so he's possibly a future Indonesian first team star. Don't know if it's the manager holding them back here. They've got an awful manager. So maybe it would be a good idea to put someone better in charge. But they have been doing well either way. And their World Cup group is very tough again this time. Senegal, Brazil and Holland. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get through that one. But in the build-up to the World Cup, they had a good qualifying round and managed to win the Southeast Asian Championship once again beating Thailand in the final. Thailand have been unlucky really, haven't they? Where are they in the world? 118th in the world. So obviously they're a lot lower than Indonesia. Indonesia a real force now. Confederations Cup, how did they do? They got through to the third place playoff, which they lost against Argentina, unfortunately. They lost against England in the semi-final on penalties. That really is unlucky. Sean Mills getting a couple goals for England. He looks very good. Plays for Chelsea. And then, lost against Argentina 3-2. Let's look at the recent Confederation Cup winners, though. We've got Brazil, Argentina, Holland, Argentina and England won it last time, beating Italy in the final. So Indonesia did pretty well there, considering. And now they're in the World Cup. It's going to be tough, but let's see how they get on. So in this update, we're going to look at the 2030 World Cup. But before I look at that, someone on part 1 did ask for the San Marino save files from the San Marino experiment. They wanted to see if they holidayed, how far they could go. I did actually holiday out of curiosity, by the way, but they stayed exactly the same for about 20 years, which is why I didn't do a part 4. I just thought there was no point. So if you really want the save files, I can upload them, but literally there's nothing you can do unless you do make massive changes. So here you can see Brazil won the 2030 World Cup in South Korea. They beat Spain 3-1 in the final. But let's see how Indonesia got on. Let's look at the group stage, see if they managed to get through a very tough group of death in a way. Italy and Mexico qualify from their groups. Spain and South Korea, Germany, France, Colombia, Cameroon, Argentina, Croatia, England, Uruguay. Brazil, Indonesia got through on goal difference just over Holland. Well done to Indonesia there. So how did they get on in the second round? Let's have a look. They lost against Chile 2-1, unfortunately. Can't see the game. That is a shame. But never mind, that's progress. They got to the second round before, did they? I think. Can't quite remember. Let's look. They're up to 16th in the world, though. Very good. Brazil are top. They're sandwiched between South Africa doing really well. Mexico, they're doing quite well as well up there. South Korea still up there in 10th. The highest Asian nation as it stands. So Indonesia really want to try and get above South Korea, I guess. That would be a good marking point to try and get above. But let's go and have a look at their recent games and see how they got on in the World Cup, who they managed to beat. So they drew against Senegal 2-2, then they lost against Brazil, then they beat Holland 3-0 before losing against Chile in the second round. Fakhruddin with the goal for Indonesia. 126 goals in 106 games for Indonesia. He is ridiculous. And since then, they've done pretty well. They did lose against Mexico in a friendly, but once again, in the South Asian Championship, it seems to be every 2 years, I think, they thrashed Vietnam 7-0 on aggregate. Let's just see, they've won just so many. They've only lost once since the start of this experiment, which was against Thailand in 2016. They have been really, really good. Pingo, what a name. Top scorer. 5 goals in 5 games for Indonesia. Doesn't play a huge number of games, but he does score when he plays. So he does look quite good, actually, as a striker. I don't know if they play slightly weaker teams in this tournament because they know they can, and they've got so much strength in depth now. So I'm going to holiday another to the end of the 2034 World Cup, so probably to 2035, and I'll end the episode there. But we'll see if they've managed to make any progress and actually managed to get further in the World Cup. That's if they qualify, of course. So it's the year 2035 and they're 13th in the world at the moment. I think this is the highest they've ever been. So that is really encouraging. Have they got moved above South Korea? I think they have. Where even are South Korea? I can't actually see them. They must have dropped off dramatically in recent years. Japan are there. Where's South Korea? What's happened to them? Oh, I don't actually know. I'm curious to see where they are, because I can't actually see them. They are... Whoa, what's happened? 107th in the world. They were 10th. What's happened? They were 8th at one point, weren't they? So yeah, crazy stuff. Anyway, 13th in the world. We'll have a look at the 2034 World Cup in a minute, but we'll have a look at some of the best players in Indonesia at the moment. Mohamed Saputra, 36 years old, is apparently the best player. Defensive midfielder, plays with Bayern Munich. 21 caps for Indonesia. Perhaps he's just sort of having a late blossom to his career. Next up is Sukarno Tuisalalumi. Tuisalalmuni. Oh, I can't pronounce these names. I sound like a right noob. 55 caps for Indonesia. Wow, he looks really good. There's a few 20s in there. 20 on marking, anticipation, decisions, positioning. What a defender. Plays for Atletico Madrid. Moved for 22 million from Anderlecht, who signed him for free. That is brilliant business from them. Let's look at, 197 potential ability. 192 current ability. They have some incredible world-class players. Surely they have to put all this together and win the World Cup at some point. This is another guy of insane ratings. Defensive midfielder, quite old now. Plays for AC Milan. Batubara. Look, they've just got so many good players. It is ridiculous. It really is. Amazing. Most cap player actually plays in Indonesia. It's a goalkeeper, Joko Sukarno. He's played for Arema for pretty much his whole career apart from the first 2 seasons and hasn't decided to move abroad at all, and he's a really good keeper actually. 177 potential, he's 153 current, so he's never maybe quite reached that potential, but he's still a very good keeper. Pamancas is next capped. Some of the players are a bit older now. Goals wise, Abdul Rahman Anam is top scorer, 53 goals in 51 games, plays for Braga. Interesting. Good potential, good current ability. Have a look at the records actually quickly, just out of curiosity. Eric Rizal's still top scorer, 145 goals. He's still around at the age of 35, but he's doesn't get into the team now. But he was an incredible player in his time, 145 goals in 135 games. Really quite an incredible player. What happened to Fakrudin? He's retired from international duty 4 years ago. He was another guy that got stupid numbers of goals. Also was bad discipline apparently. Really interesting stuff. They've had some really, really top players, and they've still got top players. But they do tend to have quite a few older players playing for them. But there's a few young ones. The youngest players are 24, but I'm sure they've got some incredible young players in the under-19s, as usual. Most valued player is this guy of Waranga. Plays for PSG. Wow. I could look at these players all day. They just look so marvellous. You just look at them and you can't control yourself. Oh, I need to change my pants. For those of you interested in the Indonesian Super League, this is what's happened over the last few years. Arema really have dominated. They've not won every year, but they have done very well. Semen Padang has won it 2 out of the last 3 years, though. Let's just look at some of these players in the league. Top scorers. Pingo, our old friend. 14 goals in 19 games for Indonesia. Still playing in the Indonesian League. Let's look at some wonder kids then. What a name. Abdullah. Oh, come on. He's going to be a star. He has to be a star with that name. 159 ability. Not bad. That's pretty good. Solid Premier League player he'll be. What a name. Abdullah. Pingo and Abdullah is just fantastic. They are going to be cult heroes. So we're just going to travel through the years and see how they managed to make it. I assume they made it to the World Cup. Let's have a quick look, first of all, to see if they actually did make it. I think they did. This is the World Cup qualifying stage. They'd have got through that quite comfortably before winning the Southeast Asian Championship once again, beating Vietnam in the final. 2033. Oh, that's more World Cup qualifying. They have to go through various stages, don't they? Lost against Switzerland there, but other than that, some very good wins. 2034 then, the World Cup. They got to the quarter-final, but they lost against Belgium, who are always strong on Football Manager nowadays, just like in real life. They got through their group. They lost against Chile, who they lost against in the second round of the previous World Cup. Beat Tunisia 3-0. Beat Serbia 3-0. Couple goals from this guy, Taufik Indra. Whoa, 73 goals in 88 games for Indonesia. Don't think he's in the team now. He's 35. And then they beat Wales in the second round in extra time. Couple goals from Erwin Dowley, 24-year-old. Looks pretty good. But then they did come a cropper against Belgium, so we're still waiting for them to win the World Cup. Now, in the comment section below, I would like you to let me know which World Cup do you think they will win, if they will win at all. Do you think they will? Maybe they won't. Maybe you just think they're always going to be unlucky. They've got one more stage further on this year, maybe semi-finals next time, and then the final time after that. I don't know, but let me know the year when you think they will win the World Cup. If you're still watching at this stage, then let me know the year. In part 3, I will be going into the future and hopefully finding a year where they win the World Cup. It is enjoyable to watch this because there's just so many brilliant players in this. Amazing stuff. They've won the Asian Cup again, by the way, beating Iran in the final. South Korea won the 2031 one, but they have won 3 out of the last 4, which is good. So well done to Indonesia for that. Oh, Mongolia, classic team. 168th in the world. They beat them 4-0. And they beat Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan? I don't know how to pronounce that country, to be honest. I always like all the Tajikistan countries, these sort of thing. Great names. Wow, he got 5 goals. Abdul Rahman Arnhem. 53 goals in 51 games. We've looked at him already. But 5 goals in one game. Well done. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please hit that like button to show your support for this series and for the future videos that will be coming out. But yeah, let me know which year will they win the World Cup for the first time. Predictions, please, in the comment section. Let me know any other thoughts about the series in the comment section as well. Say hi. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Have a good day.